I guess the way I think about it is, there's the music, but this book is about the culture. The music is part of the culture for sure. It's the frame that you see everything through, but it's also about movies. It's also about fashion. It's also about language. It's about politics, about sports. What I wanted to do was look at how, through the frame of this rap music, it expanded to become, hip hop culture. I was born in the 60s, but grew up in the 70s. And Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield, Aretha Franklin, James Brown. I mean, the music from that era is legendary. And Shaft and Superfly and the Mac. I mean, I'm a child of blaxploitation. I'm also talking about like the representation of, say, New York in 70s culture. So, Taxi Driver, Patty Hearst and the Simeonese Liberation Army, figures like Millie Jackson or Miles Davis or Richard Pryor. I mean, the 70s is, to me, just such a fascinating and compelling decade. I think the chapter that was hardest to write was the third chapter, which is on the 1990s, because the 90s is the era when hip-hop just, fully expanded, and there's just so much in that decade to account for that it was bigger than the other chapters because so many important things happened in that moment. There's not one or two great players in the history of the NBA. There are quite a few. There are not one or two great rappers. There are quite a few. But it's still a love for the music and a love for the culture and a love for that history of where these artists have come into the equation and made their mark. In the book with a lot of these stories, Kendrick Lamar has a Pulitzer Prize. Hip-hop helped elect a president. Jay-Z and Beyonce are in Tiffany commercials with a Jean-Michel Basquiat painting in the equation. Nas is performing with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center. We have infected the culture in such a way, like the way people talk. This is something people overlook now, but it's so powerful. Like the words they use, the phrases, it is so influenced by hip hop, and people don't even know it. They don't even know that the slang they use is hip. They're speaking our language. When you can make people speak your language and they don't even know they're speaking your language, that's power, that's influence. And I think we need to recognize just how important and impactful those 50 years have been and use that as a foundation to build on as we move forward.